color grading is one of my favorite aspects when it comes to working on my own projects. Aside from the cinematography, it is really how I like to showcase my visual style. In this video, I will explain why and how I use Filmconvert to grade my videos. Before I start, don't forget to check out the link in the description to get 10% off, and don't forget to subscribe to see more videos like this one. This is Flo from Off to Lens, and let's get into it. Recently, a lot of you have asked me to talk about my color grading process, and since my last video was made 2 years ago, I thought now would be a good time to make another one. As always, I wouldn't tell you guys to use something if I didn't use it myself. I have been using Filmconvert for nearly 8 years now, and the majority of my work has been done using it. I use it for both work and personal content. Basically, I have been using Filmconvert for as long as I have been a working filmmaker. Whether it is in a movie or a TV show, I have always loved the look of film and always had a preference for organic looking images. There is a certain feel and texture that film gives. So it is natural for me to want to be able to create a similar look when it comes to my own work. Essentially, Filmconvert enables you to add film color and grain to your videos. Here's what makes it so special. Film stocks. They have nearly 20 film stocks to choose from Kodak to Fuji, including color negative, color positive, black and white, and even Polaroid. My personal favorite, and the one that I use most of the time, is the Motion Kodak 5207. Real film grain. Grain is arguably the main giveaway when we see content shot on film. With Filmconvert, it is actually real film grain scanned at 6K, which gives a very authentic and organic look. Camera profiles. So when you add the film stocks, it's not just a filter that you apply. The film stocks are actually matched to your camera and camera picture style. So for example, if you own a BMPCC 4K or 6K, you can download the pack and then choose where you actually shot your project on, such as log or video. Even if you happen to shoot on your iPhone or with a drone, you will find a profile for it. They also constantly update their website with new profiles, so even if your camera is brand new, you can be sure that it will be available soon. Creating and exporting LUTs. You can also create and export your own LUTs from it once you have a look that you love and know that you will work with again. This can be useful to fast-track your workflow or help you monitor on set. I use Filmconvert as a plugin for Final Cut Pro, but you can also use it with Premiere, After Effects, and DaVinci. The newer version, called Nitrate, is even more in-depth, adding Cineon log film emulations, full custom curve control, and advanced film grain controls. I still use the older regular version most of the time, but the Nitrate features are there when you really want to dive in and take control of your image, such as adjusting the grain strength, saturation, and curve. Here are a few reasons why I still use it after all this time. 1. To create looks. Color grading is a great tool to help convey the mood or tone of an image. With Filmconvert, I can really create what I have in mind. 2. It saves me time. Over the years, I have built my own presets and now have a collection that I can use or refer to when shooting projects that are similar in terms of cameras or visuals. I don't always have the time to spend days grading my footage, so this is great. 3. Easy to use. Filmconvert is very easy to use and I love that it lives within Final Cut Pro. Of course, you can probably achieve any look you want from scratch, but if you can do it faster and easier, then you may as well. After all these years, Filmconvert has become an essential part of my workflow. I am by no means a professional when it comes to color grading, but with Filmconvert, I can always get an image that I'm happy with and that fits what I had envisioned. As I mentioned before, I use it with Final Cut Pro and my process is actually quite straightforward. So before I start, I usually have a look in mind. What I mean by that is that I might want my footage to be dark and grainy, or warm and happy, or neutral with just a bit of grain added. Having an idea what you're trying to achieve is a huge plus. I take most of my inspiration from movies, TV shows, as well as my own photography work. When you first start, you will be presented with a panel that has familiar features such as exposure and temperature, as well as some that belong to the world of film, with your selection of film stock, the size of grain, and the film color. Before you start, it is best to download your corresponding camera pack so you can select the correct camera and color profile your footage was shot on, which will give you better and more accurate results. Keep in mind that I'm using Filmconvert alongside color correcting. For example, I still prefer to set the exposure, saturation, temperature and contrast within Final Cut using color wheels and curves, and I keep mainly Filmconvert for that film look. However, you do have a control panel within Filmconvert that allows you to color correct and play around with levels. And for more advanced controls, Nitrate gives you access to anything you need to color correct and grade using only Filmconvert. The reason I still mostly use the older version is that I'm so used to it and I have so many presets already built in. So when it comes to Filmconvert, first of all you have to select your film stock. As I mentioned before, I love to use KD5207. In my case, I usually have the film color and curve anywhere between 70 and 85. For the grain, I prefer to use 35mm grain since it is more subtle and it is usually set between 10 and 15 depending on the video, so you can just notice that it is there. But on the surf documentary, for example, I used 20 to 25 for some shots as it suited the projects and I wanted to have a grainy look. I like using grain because it takes the digital edge of the footage in my opinion and creates a more pleasing, softer image. Whilst I still want my footage to have a distinct look, I also tend not to go crazy. So for example, if I want to showcase a beautiful landscape, I might want to be able to still maintain a neutral look that does not distract the viewer, so I will make minimal adjustments to the curve and saturation. With Filmconvert, you can either be subtle or you can go all out and create a very noticeable look. When it comes to my own work, I like to add a bit of blue in the shadows and a bit of warmth in the highlights to create color contrast. Of course, prior to color grading, you need to make sure that the footage is what you intended for that specific project in terms of cinematography, pace, and movement, and that it fits the story. When shooting, I always try not to overexpose and prefer to even shoot slightly under in some cases. Shooting log on Blackmagic cameras allow me to retain a lot of information and flexibility in the footage, which is extremely helpful when color grading. I don't always use the full capacity of the plugin either, and sometimes I only use it as a base or just to add a bit of grain. As always, it all depends on the story and image you're working on. Everyone has different tastes as well, so feel free to play around and see what works best for you. Final thoughts. Color grading is just one of many steps in creating video work and is there to complement and enhance the story and the cinematography of the piece. For me, being able to shoot on high-resolution digital sensors but still have a film look is the best of both worlds. For $139, I find Filmconvert to be a very powerful tool that enables you to achieve the look you have in mind while still making the whole process quick and easy. Of course, you can always grade from scratch, and I sometimes do, but having that organic feel to your footage and having the ability to create and share your look across your body of work is quite important. And in some cases, I don't use it, such as for product reviews or footage licensing. But for anything where I need a look or when I have a visual style in mind, Filmconvert is what I use. That's it for me for today, guys. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and don't forget to check out the link in the description to save 10% off. Feel free to like this video if you did, don't forget to subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Also, feel free to check out my new ebook, Freelance Documentary Filmmaking, An Introduction, where you can find a streamlined but comprehensive overview from pre-production all the way to marketing, built on years of my own experience shooting short documentaries around the world.